Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will start a new series titled, How Does Money and Our Global Economic Cycle Work? Today is the first part of the series. Right after the intro, we will start immediately. Stay tuned.
Insights for the Informed Investor.
My name is Darius, and I first came into contact with the economy in 1998. Back then, during my training, we discussed economic cycles, and I found it very fascinating. I then went to a library and borrowed some books that explicitly explained the economy. A short time later, in 1999, I slowly started investing in equity funds with an initial charge of 5%. My first equity funds were from China. Even then, I recognized the potential. Today, I invest in individual shares and ETFs. Now that I have briefly introduced myself, let's change the subject. In many countries and among many people, the topic of money is taboo. People don't talk about money. Money doesn't make you happy. He inherited the money, so he just has it. The first million is the most difficult. You can't buy health with money. Do you notice anything about the sentences? Somehow envy fills them, doesn't it? Why do most people think this way about money? Why are you taught very little about money in class and how to invest it profitably? For most people, their dreams and reality are very different. They dream that they will have a house with a garden or a big car when they grow up. As we all know, everyone wants a house. After all, it has been a basic need for thousands of years. But when you are in professional life, it remains a dream. Can anything be done about this? In this series of many videos, money is the central topic, and you and your children are shown how to be financially free. Prosperity is a birthright. We all want to live in financial freedom, don't we? Schools prepare our children for working life. Very little is taught about finances. If that's the case, change it. I make the videos so that you and your next generation's children can live in their natural destiny, prosperity, and financial freedom. The introduction. If you ask the people around you whether they understand the concept behind money, they will most likely answer you with a resounding yes. But the reality is different. Ask yourself specifically what you learn at school. Do you learn how financial systems are structured and how you can use them to your own advantage? You probably don't, because the school system only gives you a theoretical education in various areas, but no education in vital areas. Financial intelligence is the key word here. Many people have not yet realized that financial intelligence can be a key to success. Compare the intelligent people in this world with those who are entrepreneurial and multiply their money. With the intelligent people, you will find that they have all the necessary prerequisites to earn good money, but do not do so. The first thing you notice about people who are active in business is that they are generally not as well educated as intelligent people. Nevertheless, they usually run a company that generates good sales and therefore ensure that many intelligent people work for them. While one person has acquired the theoretical education that is taught at school, the other person has dealt with financial intelligence from the very beginning. This also leads to the person's success. Economics is a central part of every country, household, and business. You should master your own accounting in order to have a good life. Otherwise, you will never experience financial freedom and will be stuck in a real dead end. You won't be able to get out of it easily. These videos will give you a basic understanding of money. Not only that, you will also learn how you can increase your money. Practical tips and clear explanations ensure that even the layman understands the subject. To understand the subject of money, we must first travel back in time. The Neolithic Age. How did money come into being in the first place? This is a crucial question if you are concerned with your own financial intelligence. Many thousands of years ago, people did not know money in the material form that it exists today. At that time, people lived as hunters and gatherers. As they lived this way of life, they generally did not need money as they did not need to buy goods or anything similar. Although the invention of money did not take place in this era, the trade in animals or other tools laid the foundation for the later development of money. Basically, everything that people in a particular group hunted or gathered belonged to all the people in that group. Although meat or grain was exchanged with other nomadic peoples, trade in goods had not yet been developed. This only happened in the course of time, when people became sedentary. This will be explained in the next chapter. The first town foundations. The first small settlements emerged with the founding of the first towns. First agriculture developed, and then livestock farming. These two things became more and more complicated over time. When people settled down, they were able to produce a surplus of grain, milk, or meat as farmers. However, in the beginning, they were not able to obtain other things they needed. They lacked the right tools with which they could do their work even better. This aspect laid the foundation for bartering. They exchanged the surpluses they gained from farming and animal husbandry for tools and jewelry. The fundamental change compared to the Neolithic period is that, firstly, people became sedentary. Secondly, they no longer had to provide for themselves. The division of labor between different groups was encouraged. A small market economy existed. There was a demand for every good on offer, which could be met by a corresponding supply. But where was the first city founded? Eridu was one of the first cities to be founded by the Summers. This city fulfilled the basic requirements of urbanity. However, the area was not settled directly. The area was not settled until around 5000 BC. The heyday of the city began around 2500 to 1900 BC. However, the first buildings were erected around 4500 BC, so that the consequences of the first barter trade are already evident here. The town of Wetzlar is one of the oldest towns in Germany. It was founded around the same time as Eridu was built. As you can see, trade continues to spread around the world. But there is still one problem. So far, there are only barter transactions. There are no real means of payment yet. So what was the next step that led to the development of today's money? Traditional means of payment. Bartering is all well and good, but still very complicated. Let's assume that a fisherman wanted to buy a new fishing rod. First, he had to find a baker where he could exchange fish for bread. If the baker was not interested in the fish, no barter was made. Now that the fisherman had received the bread, he had to go to the blacksmith and exchange the bread for a fishing rod. As you can see, this way of trading is not very effective. Not only that, it is also far more complicated than the trade we know today. These are also the first means of payment. If you've enjoyed the video so far, don't forget to like it. Subscribe to this channel and activate the bell to add value to the channel and support my channel for free. People have not always paid with money, as most people assume. Some of this bartering still exists today. If you look around the internet on various barter platforms, you will quickly find numerous offers where you can exchange one specific item for another. Smartphones are the best known example. You can always find sellers online who want to swap their smartphone for another smartphone. Using objects and food as a means of payment is the simplest form of payment known to man. In addition, both parties always have an advantage in the barter transaction. One person receives something they need to live, while the other person receives a new tool or other items, for example. This, in turn, can be used to buy new food. The first coins. What were the first coins? Coins were used to slowly introduce our current monetary system. But how did people come to produce coins and later use them for trade? Was there a particular reason that prompted them to produce coins? To begin with, it should be noted that it is not clear when money was first used, but writings can prove that in ancient Mesopotamia, payment was made with weighed silver 4,000 years ago. This was the foundation stone of today's trade. Since this milestone in trade, precious metals have been used as a means of payment in many parts of the world. How did people pay with silver? They simply chopped the precious metal into smaller pieces and weighed them. Another option was to place pieces of gold that they found in the scales. To weigh the metals, they usually used recognized weights and scales so that there was a standard of comparison. The shape of the metal played a secondary role. Instead, the weight of the metal came to the fore. In the 7th century BC, the actual coins were invented. Merchants in Lydia came up with the idea of introducing coins. What was the reason for this change? Quite simply, weighing precious metals was a laborious task. To save this work in future, the merchants suggested that the metal pieces could be stamped with a personal mark. This minting process is known as minting. The problem, however, was that there were not so many coins in circulation in the past. This in turn meant that the different pieces of metal kept falling into the same hands. This meant that merchants always knew immediately the value of the piece of metal they were holding. It was only later that the state came up with the idea of minting coins with a state value. This changed the entire economic structure worldwide. What is the reason for this? It's simpler than you might think. The introduction of coins meant that people had to pay their taxes in a different form. Instead of the usual way, they were now obliged to pay their taxes in the form of coins. This meant that people had to change their ways. If you have taken a close look at the history of money up to now, you will have noticed one crucial point. This is that people have repeatedly acted out of their comfort zone. What does that mean? People found it too costly to trade in animals and agricultural goods, so they began to pay with gold and silver. However, this also became very costly over time, which is why they decided to pay with coins that were personally minted. In order to simplify the monetary system for everyone, the coins were used by the state. The state minted the coins with a uniform value. This standardized trade within a country. What was the result of this aspect? It meant that people had even greater convenience when paying. This meant that goods or services could be procured even more quickly. What would have been the logical next step? Correct. Payment with banknotes. Because paying with banknotes makes life even easier for people, which is why this step is essential for the transformation of money. I hope you enjoyed the video and would be delighted if you would give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell. That way you won't miss any more videos from me and will be informed immediately when a new video is published. Thanks for watching the whole video and see you soon.